Oh god, this is going to be awkward. The consequences of my actions, of the horrible, horrible things that I did last time. You're doing really great, Rosalina. Not a lot of kids your age can take shots that well. You're being so brave. You don't have to talk to me like I'm 5, but you are brave. You really are, Rosalina. You're like so badass. Alexis is right. This is more than most people have to deal with their whole lives, and here you are, taking it like a champ. Dr. Kelly's kind demeanour vanishes as she turns and glares at you. Oh, I see we have visitors. How are you doing, Rosalina? Tired? My leg hurts a lot, but the medicine is helping. It's not so bad now. Plus, I gotta lie down in an actual bed last night. You have no idea how good that felt. Thanks, Jam. I can't believe you got any sleep last night after all that ghost stuff. I just sat on the couch with all the lights on. I don't think I slept at all. I really needed some rest after, the hospital. My foot. Your body is desperately trying to get you to rest. All that activity yesterday was pretty brutal on your injury. It's never going to stop hurting if you keep pushing yourself. So, what are you not going to do today? Anything? That's right, you're staying right here. No walking around, no investigating haunted houses. Sorry, Dr. Kelly, I should have been better at stopping her. I take full responsibility as her father. I should have... No need for anyone to step in to take the blame for anything. It's the hospital's fault for sending her home at all. It's gross negligence if you ask me. But give it time, then you can do all the activities you want, alright, Rosalina? God fucking hell! That's evil. I'm not quite at that, no. Maybe Scarlet Jam just fucking hates Dr. Kelly. And maybe she's in a really bad state, right? Fuck. I can't talk myself into that line. I can't do it. I'm guessing Charlie didn't come back for an encore? Not as far as I know. I slept in Rosalina's room and made sure to put some heavy objects on top of the hatch just to give myself a little extra peace of mind. But nothing happened. That's good enough for me. I didn't see anything either, but even if something did happen, I wouldn't know. I was asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow. I'm too tired to worry about ghosts anymore, to be honest. Oh, and the cat's like resting. Oh, that's cute. Losing a limb will do that, especially if you decide to trump about the next day like nothing happened. I would have been fine if it weren't for Charlie. Good thing he's gone then, and let's hope he stays gone. Wait, Oscar, did you tell Dr. Kelly about... Yeah, I told her everything. He did. I'm sorry that happened. Dr. Kelly's steel gaze is impenetrable. It's impossible to tell if she genuinely believes Oscar's story, or if she's decided she's better off humouring him. Have any of you seen Stella since last night? Not since dinner. She hasn't got in touch with any of you? I'm starting to freak out a little. I really care about her and she's just gone. It's okay, Jam. We're gonna find her. That's not good. I haven't seen her since she ran off last night. I feel terrible. This is my fault, isn't it? Should have done a better job warning her. Stella was practically banging down your door trying to get evidence of ghosts. I don't think you were going to be able to stop her. Poor Oscar's got like a pretty bad habit of taking everything on himself. Like, he really does blame himself a lot. There was no way you could have known how she would react when she found it. I don't even think she knew how she'd react. Besides, you didn't know how bad it was going to get. You can't blame yourself for everything, man. I know you probably feel like it's your responsibility to make sure everyone around you is okay, but sometimes that's just not going to be possible. You're only one guy. That's what Rosalina's always saying. I suppose I do apologize more than I should. You really do. Should I ask about Reese? I feel like I'd be playing with fire, but I am concerned, and also secretly want to get more intel. Comfort save! How's Reese? He's fine. Had a rough night, but he'll recover. He's used to this sort of thing. He just needs a couple days to get back on his feet. That means no more excitement, not even a movie. I'm sorry to hear that, Dr. Kelly. Oh my god, I can flirt with her. Oh my god, no. I will respect this boundary and not bother Ivy. No, that's not. Could be like, I was promised chilling Japanese found footage horror. But I'm concerned. That could be a little confrontational as a treat. I'd like to hear this from him, not filtered through you. He's sick, so you won't be hearing it from him, and I can't say I care for your tone right now. Holy shit. No, I'm not doing that. I don't care. I don't care how suspicious I am of Dr. Kelly, and I don't care how much that's affecting Scarlet Jam. She wouldn't do that. She wouldn't say that. I'm not going to warn her about the stone carvings, though. Like, or am I? I probably should, right? Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Comfort save. Look, we're not on good terms, but I can at least warn you of danger. Especially since it would also affect Reese. We found something in Oscar's house last night. A stone carving that gave me and Tabitha a vision about what had happened here. There was one in the mines the other night too. Both of them had a sort of pull on me. Whatever they are, there's something like them in your clinic. Felt it last night. Those things are cursed. It's only a matter of time before something terrible happens at the clinic. You and Reese have to leave immediately. No, I don't think we will. Just because you've decided to try and involve yourself in everyone's problems doesn't mean I want you to invade my space and try and deconstruct the life I've built. All of it based on what? A feeling? Leave us alone. My son and I are fine without your help. But if something does happen at the clinic, aren't you worried about Reese? If it's anything like what happened to us last night, he'll be fine. If something happens, I can take care of him, so none of you need to come snooping around. You remain silent. So, you've got your meds, you've got your nest of pillows, a helpful friend by your side, and a cat to keep you company. Seems like you're all set. Make sure you do a whole lot of nothing today. I will. Bye, Dr. Kelly. Yes, thanks again for coming down to see us, Joan. Not a problem. I'd much rather she stay put than have to get in and out of cars. I'll call later today to see how things are going. Hope the rest of the week is less eventful for the both of you. Goodbye, Rosalina. Make sure you stay put and keep Pixel company, okay? Dr. Kelly's features harden once again as she steps towards the door. And then she pushes past you to leave Oscar's house. We'll let you kids have some space. Alexis, why don't you figure out a restful activity for you and Rosalina? Will do, Mr. Gutierrez. I brought some video games and puzzles from my house, and some movies too. Whatever you want to do, Rosalina. Oscar ushers you down back to the library. What's up? Is everything okay? Yes, everything's fine. Or at least much better than yesterday. I can't thank you all enough. I'd like to be as helpful as I can from here on out. Now that our little situation is dealt with, I'll finally have time to dig into the town archives. Our house was haunted because someone was murdered there. The mine collapse the other night was at the site of a mass grave. With enough research, maybe we'll be able to get a step ahead of the next crisis. Maybe we can actually preempt it. That is, assuming there's going to be a next crisis, but Something tells me we aren't in the clear yet. We should compare notes. Not that I have any to start with, but if you know anything that might narrow down my research, it could save me a lot of time. I don't think we actually know that much more than you do, but I've got some hunches. I can't help but feel like there must have been some inciting event since everything started getting weird seemingly overnight. What that inciting event was, or where to start looking for it, I have no idea, but it's something to keep in mind. I would argue it is entirely theoretically possible that the inciting event is me getting here. Everything went to shit the moment I arrived. Oh no. No, wait, hold on a minute. That's not true. The ditchlings have been taking chickens for a couple days before I arrived, hadn't they? So the ditchlings arrived. Maybe it was when Perlan died. It was Perlan who died, wasn't it? That's gotta be it. I hadn't even thought about this last time. I was kind of just coasting through on fear. But now that I can think about it a bit more constructively, her death has gotta be it. Right? Like, but why? I mean, it leaves Tabitha and me as the two remaining heirs. Maybe it's because there's only two of us left? And I mean, Scarlet Jam ain't having kids. So, I guess it falls on Tabitha. Maybe that was the concern. Maybe the bloodline's about to end. Avery stares at you. I mean, it's obvious, right? Things only started happening once Jam got here. Kanika shoots Avery a glare. No, we're not throwing Jam under the bus. What? There's nothing wrong with being a magical catalyst. Sure, there's probably nothing wrong with someone being a magical catalyst, but there's definitely something wrong with saying someone's a magical catalyst. If people get the wrong idea, we're only a couple steps away from the whole town deciding to shaw her. Nobody's gonna drag Jam into a witch hunt on my watch. I like to think we've outgrown the days of running people out of town on rails. I'd rather play it safe. Don't worry, it's not like I'm gonna run around town telling everyone that Jam magicked a bunch of terrible disasters into existence. You are still kind of insinuating that my appearance got a child's foot crushed and got a man killed and terrorized a house. But if there's a catalyst for all of this, why wouldn't it be a lost Scarlet finally coming home to Scarlet Hollow? If I may, Jam getting into town isn't the only major event that's happened lately. Perlan died over a week ago, and those creatures in the woods were already reproducing by the time she arrived. I promise I didn't remember this. That's so fucking cool that my hunch has just been confirmed. I promise I didn't remember this detail. That's amazing. Not to mention, I started seeing things in our house before Perlan passed. I think. Never thought to make a note of exactly when the spirit made itself known. If there's a root cause for all of this, hopefully there's a way to put the genie back in its bottle. I'm going to do my best to find out if there have ever been any similar events, and whether there's anything special about Scarlet Hollow that might explain what's going on. I'm allowed to propose the cult theory again if I want, but I don't think I'm going to. I don't know if I want to mention this now, because Dr. Kelly is tending to the care of Oscar's daughter. Those carvings I warned Dr. Kelly about are important. To think there was something like that under my house all this time. And to think someone must have put it there. But who? And there was one in the mines, and if you're right, there's one in the clinic. Maybe that's what I should be focusing on right now. How many of those things are there? If we're lucky, maybe this door is free, but I'd rather not count on it. Where else would there be any? I mean, we had that book full of the buildings that we read last chapter. And that included that one house with the two sort of families that formed a schism. The Scarlet Manor, of course. Were there any other buildings that were mentioned? Because my gut is obviously pointing to all of those. I'm gonna have to go and check now. Okay, right. Historical buildings of Scarlet Hollow. I'm looking at my video. The Scarlet Estate, the Memorial Hospital, I think that's the clinic, right? The coal mines, the Tremaine Homestead, that's the one. Oh, the church, that's another one. And the town hall. So the 3 buildings that we've sort of yet to investigate, well, I mean, obviously also the clinic as well, but like, even without, yeah, so there's a clinic, there's the Scarlet Manor, which I can't investigate because there's like a locked door. The Tremaine Homestead, and one more that I said that I can't remember. The church. Those are the 4 ones right now that I'm worried about. Why don't we go down to the basement and take a closer look at the seal that's here? The ghost isn't around anymore, so there's no harm in it, right? I personally would rather not go back into that creepy basement, but that thing has to be the most solid lead we have at this point, right? Not a chance. I know the ghost is probably gone for good, but that thing is evil, and if there's even the slightest chance that going back down there triggers something it's not worth disturbing. At least not until we know more. But what if this is our only chance to... My daughter's safety comes first right now. We finally have our house back and I'm not taking any risks until we know what we're dealing with. That's extremely valid. It's been a wild couple days. And also, I don't want to air Dr. Kelly's laundry out in public. You know what I mean? Like, if it was just Kanika and maybe Avery, I'd be all over saying I think she's really suspicious. But I don't want to do it with other people about, because otherwise I'll get sued for... Is it libel or slander? It's one of those two. If it starts affecting her business. That's literally the only reason. Like, I don't care about, like, her well-being too much. Or Scarlet Jam doesn't. But she's clearly into her law, and she knows not to slander and lie about people like that. Or not lie, but speak without conclusive evidence. I might warn about Pixel, honestly. I know it's uncomfortable, it's like I'm being weird and uncomfortable, but, like, the last thing they need is to deal with the loss of a pet right now. Make sure Pixel stays inside, or he might get grabbed by ditchlings. The ditchlings are those things from the woods, right? With those faces? Yeah, the anguished doughboys. I kinda like them. It's like a hidden object game out there today with all the weird little faces peering out of the bushes. I don't think I quite picked up on how much of a fucking, like, weirdo Avery is, but they're really growing on me a lot. Like them? Are we talking about the same creatures that have been laying eggs in the local wildlife? I don't want to get friendly with them or anything. I just think they're kind of interesting. That's not what you insinuated to me earlier. To each their own. Will do. I can't imagine how devastated Rosalina would be if something were to happen to him, especially after everything she's been through. Thank you. That's good. That's locked in. There's a thing in the clinic I mentioned. That pull. I wish Dr. Kelly was taking this as seriously as she should. Oscar, what did you tell her about last night? She didn't bat an eye at anything Jam said about the supernatural. She mostly just got defensive. Does she know how bad it was? I told her everything. She seemed to believe me, but who knows? Maybe she was just being polite in front of Rosalina. Maybe the whole time I was ranting, she was actually just nodding along, thinking I had a psychotic break. I don't know. She didn't seem to care about putting on a show for Rosalina once we showed up. I'll make sure to shoot Reese a warning text. He at least deserves to know something might happen. No, I'm ignoring that. I mean, no, I'm sure I'm probably feeling that way, but that's not my focus right now. You remain silent. Texting Reese a warning isn't enough though, is it? If we're gonna get to the bottom of things, we're gonna have to... Kanika shudders. Investigate the clinic, with or without Dr. Kelly's permission. Whoa, are you sure about that? It's what Stella would do. She's been free for free this week when it comes to finding spooky stuff. She's also been free for free when it comes to finding her way into mortal peril. This is why we have to find her as soon as possible. It shouldn't fall on me to suggest we do something dangerous. I'm terrible at selling it. Not that I don't think we should figure out what's going on in there, we just need to be cautious about what we do next. I'm glad Oscar's, kind of on board with this. We don't want anyone to get attacked or possessed by any more ghosts, even if it is to help a friend. I don't know if we have time to play it safe. Just give me a day or two to do some research before you do anything rash, okay? Whatever we're doing next, I feel like we're missing a vital team member. We need to find Stella and fast. I agree. We need her brains and energy if we're going to do any serious sleuthing. See you around, Oscar. Let us know what you find. I will. So that's Oscar. Any other ideas? Oh, I regret not asking about the cult. I'm filled with a sudden regret that I didn't ask about the cult. Do I have a load? I do, but it's a little bit, do I have an auto? Perfect. I don't care if it's stupid. I need to ask about the cult. I'm sticking with the cult. I wonder if this could be the work of some sort of cult. You mentioned something like that at the library the other day. If there was a cult in Scarlet Hollow, I feel like I know about it. And know any local cults that could be responsible? Let's not get all satanic panic just yet. I know it's not looking unlikely at this point, but having lived in this town all my life, I feel like I would know if there was some cults that ran the place. It just seems like the kind of thing that wouldn't be easy to keep secret in a place as small as Scarlet Hollow. I'd love to be part of some weird religious cult, just to see what kind of stuff they get up to, but alas, I've either never been invited, or there are none to be found in the Hollow. I don't even know of any in public record. Even in the 70s when cults were a dime a dozen and hippies were flocking to the hills. Okay, that was barely worth it, but I'll stick with it. I suppose at this point, maybe we should entertain going to the cops. We should go to the cops, right? You sure? Nothing against the officers of Scarlet Hollow, but you've met them, right? Do you think it's worth the trouble? As unhelpful as they are, we are dealing with a missing person. That's cop stuff. It's probably going to be more of a formality than anything, but there's no point in not covering all our bases. The police station is exactly what you would expect from a town the size of Scarlet Hollow. It smells strongly of coffee and faintly of aged furniture and paper, and the general tidiness speaks of a department that doesn't get much of anything done. It's so clean that you can tell there's no work being done. I love that kind of weird turning on the head of a positive trait of cleanliness. Also, Bo's here. Cool. But you're also not alone here. You enter to find a worried Bo standing between you and the officers behind the desk. Let me get this right. You're trying to report a missing pumpkin? Big Betty wasn't just a pumpkin. Sheriff Hugsby, sir. Blah 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 blah. Let's try that one again. Big Betty wasn't just a pumpkin, Sheriff Hugsby, sir. She was going to be a prize winner. Raising her was the last thing me and my daddy did together. She's important to me. Are you sure it was Julius and not some enterprising bear that got a hold of it? Y'all know Julius thinks that land belongs to him. Probably thought Big Betty was his to take. He ain't come into his door, so for all I know, he might be all the way to the state fair by now with our pumpkin. Ain't there something y'all can do about it?
I'm afraid we'll need at least some kind of evidence to go on before we can go barging into a man's home, son. Why don't you see if you can find something a little more solid for us to go on? And we can see about helping you out.
The hell kind of cops are these? They're making us conduct our own investigations? We can just straight up ask if they're, like, cults. If they're a part of a cult. I love that we can entertain this shit, but I'm not going that far. I'll jump in. Against my better judgment, I'll jump into this conversation. What's all this about a pumpkin?
Seems Bo here has misplaced a considerably large pumpkin.
Have y'all heard a word I said? I didn't misplace Big Betty. She was stolen. And I know who done it, so I'd appreciate it if y'all would give Mr. Tremaine a visit and set things straight. And I'm telling you, we can't barge into your neighbour's house just because you want us to. I remember this. The Tremaines and the Callaways split some land between them after a rift in the family, right? They just couldn't get along with our side of the family. They made up a whole new property line and decided anything that grew on their side of it belonged to them. And they didn't let us Callaways touch none of it.
All this happened generations ago, but they've kept it up all this time. Neither one of them wants to be the one to finally bury the hatchet.
I would try if you weren't such an angry man. Can't abide by living next to someone you ain't friendly with, but stealing just for the sake of it is low. What makes you think Mr. Tremaine stole it? You're poking a wasp's nest, Jan. There's 100 years of history here. He's been claiming Big Betty was his since day one on account of he thinks he was planted on his side of the property.
The Callaways and Tremaines have been at this a long time. They can never agree on whose land is whose.
This ain't the first time we've heard something like this. And we get our fair share of calls from Julius Tremaine, too. You know, Julius is a friend of mine. There's a lot of things, and he's definitely a bit of a curmudgeon, but never pegged him as a thief. I didn't know Julius ever talked to anybody. Talk is a strong word, but I like to think we have some kind of understanding. That's, like, stupid. Like, that would have been done ages ago if it was that easy. That's stupid. I don't think Bo's asking you to throw Julius in jail or anything. Why can't you just look into this? Jam's right, I ain't asking for much. Though, if I went down that road, I'm sure Julius would come down here tomorrow and have a whole list of his own complaints, and all of them would sound just as justified as yours. Oh wow, the sheriff hates my guts. Sometimes it's best to just let things work out for themselves. But it sounds like Bo has a real case here. It's not just two neighbours having an emotional dispute. Property's been stolen. Couldn't you get involved on his behalf just as once after everything he's been through this week?
You say that like this is the first time one of these feuding farm folk have come in about missing vegetables. We've heard it all.
And what we've learned is it's best to keep our noses out of it. I'm sure Bo here will be unsatisfied with whatever the legal system feels is just punishment for stealing Big Bessie.
It doesn't matter what happens. If we do anything, Julius will be storming here the next day with a complaint of his own. Heck, he'll probably come down here regardless.
In which case, you've just talked yourself into a corner, because if he'll come down here regardless, you really have no reason not to investigate. Yep, and it'll be about a missing butternut squash or what have you, that he's sure made it into a soup on the Callaway side of the property line. You know, I haven't seen him since Tuesday. He's usually in the diner every day. Even if he didn't take Big Betty, it might be worth doing a welfare check. Alright, let me speak in plainer terms. Everyone knows that Julius Tremaine's land is booby-trapped to hell. It's not worth it. It's never stopped me. Yeah? Do you have kids, Avery? Because I've got 2 teenage girls at home. Huckabye's got grandkids. Franklin's got the mayor, I guess. I'm not about to risk getting my head blown off over a pumpkin. What the hell? What's this Home Alone setup? And where the fuck is Stella? I am at my fucking wit's end right now.
That's right. There's some sleeping dogs you learn to just let lie. I've been Scarlet Hollow's sheriff for over 20 years now. You don't hold a position like that for so long without learning a few lessons on temperance and moderation.
If I may, sir, isn't that a bit cowardly of you? I thought police officers were supposed to be brave.
Not the ones that live very long, son. Look, I've been to Julius's 100 times. I can tag along and make sure no one gets hurt.
That's a mighty kind offer, but let's give it another day. There's no need to escalate things when they might just resolve themselves.
Alright, well I have less hope than ever that this is helpful, but as Kanika said, it's a formality. Stella ran off last night and she's missing. She isn't at home and none of us have heard from her. She what now?
Oh, that's just that Stella, always running off. I wouldn't worry too much about it, she'll turn up.
I'm about to commit a crime. Right now. This town will shortly need a new fucking sheriff. This is different, Earl. You know I wouldn't be up here bothering you if it wasn't important. Yeah, for one thing, someone threatened her last night. He's been following Jam around since she got into town too.
And there are a lot of them things out there. Too many of them.
Bo's right. She shouldn't be off on her own when there's so many ditchlings creeping around in broad daylight. Ditchlings?
Jam told me about them yesterday. They're them creepy little things that got my daddy. I called about them last night too, since they've been coming up out of the woods onto the farm. I even saw some on my way up here, plain as day.
Oh, we've been getting a lot of calls about those. Guess Scarlet Hollow has either been invaded by ghouls or we're all suffering some kind of mass hallucination.
How are you not concerned?
I may have even seen one or two myself.
All the same, I don't see what we're supposed to do about them, or about Stella. Look for her, you useless fucking cops! Ugh. You drive me to drink! She's a grown woman. If she wants to go off to the woods for a bit, we don't need to go after her like she's missed curfew.
It's a free country.
If there's critters bothering folks and stealing livestock, ain't y'all supposed to take care of them?
Now, son. We ain't animal control. We're the police.
Do we have animal control here? Is there an animal control station? Because if there is not an animal control station, I would like to politely argue that maybe that falls under your purview. Are you kidding me? This town doesn't even have an animal control department. Well, maybe it should get one. Bo, did you manage to find your dad? Bo's stoic expression breaks, and for a moment you can almost see tears forming in his eyes, but he blinks them away.
Yeah, I found him.
Hear that, Deputy Franklin? Sounds like you've got another report to close.
Wow. I can't, begin to put into words the sheer hatred I have for this police department. Lucky me.
I've gathered what there was to gather. Give me a proper burial in the family plot. It's been tough going trying to dig the hole while the farm is crawling with those hairless things, but it needs to get done. Do you think they'll go back where they came from soon? Mama and me have tried to fight them back as best we can, but seems like there's more every minute.
They will, once they've had their fill of suffering.
I don't much like the sound of that.
It's okay, Bo. I'm sure things will go back to normal soon. I'm sorry for everything you've had to go through. You know, previously I was not going to say this, but at this point, I feel like I won't be able to rest if there is not some kind of explanation for the sheer incompetence of this police department beyond the regular reason of them being the police, I guess. Anyway, comfort save. Wow, we're up to 3 now. Fun. Weird question, but are you folks part of a cult, and is that why you aren't doing your jobs? The police officers stare at you, perplexed.
A cult? I don't think we have that sort of thing up here.
We are doing our jobs.
Just look at Franklin back there. He's filing all kinds of paperwork pertaining to what happened up at the mines.
You know, I can't say I appreciate your tone. Sounds like you're accusing us of some kind of indecency.
What, do you think we go up to the hills and do seances and rituals and all that sort of thing? Get your head out of the clouds. It looks like you folks are busy. We'll be on our way. I hadn't actually visited the police last time because I just assumed it would be completely useless. I decided I would this time because I wanted to get the extra content. You know, just in case there was any plot lines I missed. It turns out there was. But it also turns out that I was completely justified in my choice because I fucking hate the police in this fucking town. Do you really think Hugby and Derrickson could be part of some cult that secretly runs Scarlet Hollow? That'd be wild. I never suspect him of that sort of thing. Seems like it'd be too much work. As someone who's lived in this town my entire life, there's no way. For one thing, cult activity like what you're describing just doesn't happen. I want to say that you're obviously correct, but at this point, like, anything could be fucking going on in this town and it wouldn't surprise me. Oh my god, why? Why? I miss Stella. I miss Stella so fucking much. I've done my fair share of reading on satanic panics and so-called occult groups, and it's almost always totally made up. People constantly freak out about Satanists without realising it's just a bunch of debate club nerds who listen to heavy metal. I agree. I'm not saying it's Satanists. I don't know what it is. It's a different cult with a different agenda. So, instead of not being able to rely on the cops because they're part of a cult that secretly runs the town, we can't rely on them because they're just not good at what they do. That's much less exciting. But either way, I guess it's up to us to solve the mysteries of Scarlet Hollow. We'll do a much better job anyway. Where to next? Fuck. The mines? We should go to the mines. I guess there's a decent chance Stella went to find your cousin, since they're friends. Oh, you don't see it? Oh, come on. The two of them have such a dynamic, you know. Classic dog and cat situation. What do you mean by that? Come on, I'll drive us. What do you mean by dynamic? What do you, like... You follow Kanika to her van. It isn't long before you find yourself outside the Scarlet Mines. There's a small gathering of workers outside the entrance to the mines, picket signs in hand. I am unhappy with the treatment I'm receiving as a worker in the Scarlet Mines. Bad hours now or none at all. That one's real. That really rolls off the tongue. I hope it's not weird to talk to them while they're in the middle of all this. Don't worry, I know these guys. Most of them are in the diner at least a couple days a week. They'll be chill. Will they be chill talking to Tabitha's cousin, though? Well, if it isn't the boss's cousin, that's a no. You might have had us fooled the other day, but word gets around fast. I'm not gonna I'm gonna try and prove that I am not a foe by just jumping right to the problem. And also, I'm focusing on my greatest fears right now. Have any of you seen Stella? She's missing. The YouTuber? She's the one on all the banned from property posters, right? We haven't seen her, and we've been out here all day, so we'd know if she'd come by. Oh no, this isn't looking good. It's okay. Just because she hadn't been seen today doesn't mean something bad happened to her. We'll make sure to keep an eye out. I don't need to talk to Tabitha, I don't think. Do I need to ask about this? I mean, they're clearly not... They don't trust me at all. Let's just do a save, just to be safe, in case, you know, this goes horribly wrong. Probably will try and own it anyway, but how goes the strike? We miscalculated. We thought a kid losing a leg would have pushed folks over the edge, but I guess the boss personally dragging those kids out of that mine left a lasting impression. People are calling the boss a goddamn hero. They're calling Tabitha a hero? Really? We were there too that night. It's like everyone just forgot about how poorly she's been treating us. Or how unsafe the mines are. I can't go back down there knowing the rock over my head could come down any second. I value my life more than a paycheck. It was dumb luck she saved those kids. If she had any actual value, she'd come to the table and give us what we're owed. I mean, it's a fair point, you know. It kind of exposes the truth a little bit in that if she had any value, if she had the values to match running down there and saving every single child, she'd be negotiating. But she doesn't, because I was the one who dragged her down there, and that's why she's not negotiating. I know there's not a lot of us out here, but there's more of us at the diner, and there's more of us setting up mutual aid. But once people see our follow through, they're going to join up. This is only the beginning. Let me know if there's anything the general store can do to help. Anything you can think of, we'll take it. We need all the support we can get right now. What are your grievances? We'd like competitive pay, 8-hour shifts instead of 12 or more, improvements to the sick day and vacation policies, and a thorough safety inspection before any of us step foot on the ground again. That collapse was way too close to the active mine for me to feel safe down there, until I know for sure I won't end up buried under 2 tons of rock. We want to change things. There's no reason we should be treated like we're a disposable workforce. If we're the ones making her money, we should be making money too, not just scraping by. That's a lot of grievances. Working here seems tough. Yeah. Do you think Tabitha can even make those changes without the mines going under? I'm sure she can figure it out. I'm not saying she's not a bad boss. People clearly aren't happy with her, but coal's getting used less and less, and I've seen that old Scarlet house. It's practically condemned. If she has money to spare, where's it going? I really didn't peg you as someone who'd go to bat for Tabitha. I'm not. I'm just trying to get the full picture here. If the mine fails, I don't see how Aunt Winnie's diner doesn't fail with it. Okay, but that's the whole problem. A single family shouldn't be able to hold an entire town hostage. The workers need a say in the business. Fair enough. I am going to save before I do this next one. Because I want to sort of talk about this because Scarlet Jam likes law. But I don't know what tone is happening here. I don't know if that's going to be me trying to say don't strike or if it's me showing concern. I would only want to do this if it's the latter. I'm not saying don't strike. So, we're doing a tone safety save. You know, this isn't legal, right? She can just fire you all and not face any repercussions. She hasn't fired us yet. We're in a game of chicken right now and we don't intend to blink. Okay, they haven't seen Stella. Let's just go. That means we don't have to talk to Tabitha. That's fine by me. We've done our due diligence here. Come on, I'll drive us back to town and we can figure out our next move from there. Well, I'm fucking desperate enough. We should check out the fucking church. We should check out the church. The church? Why? I see what you're thinking. Stella was confronted with evidence of the afterlife, so she might try getting into all that religious stuff. It's worth checking out. I think we'd be barking up the wrong tree, but I guess you're right. There's no point in not being thorough. I wouldn't mind stocking up on some holy water too while we're there. Seems like a good idea to cover all our bases at this point. I don't think Baptists do the holy water thing, but I'm sure Pastor Daniel will pretend to bless some water if it meant keeping us around a little longer. That's good enough for me. Let's not linger though. I don't want him thinking we're possible converts.